Hey everybody, it's Rob here. We just finished the Diablo 4 mid-season campfire update and we have some good news. As expected, guys, they are not nerfing the Spiritborn in the mid-season patch. They will fix the unintended interactions, aka the bugs on Spiritborn, come Season 7. And we also get the Season 7 update live stream with the season theme and with all the changes next week already. And then at the beginning of December, guys, the PTR for Season 7 will already start. Now, no Spiritborn nerfs in the middle of the season, and they are literally buffing all the other classes in this mid-season patch. We're going to talk about it here in the video. This is going to be too long, didn't watch. The campfire chat was like about 50 minutes. We're going to summarize it here in like 10 minutes. So let's jump into it. So first of all, they did share a lot of cool statistics here. And you can see here that 62% of all the players that play Diablo, and keep in mind, there are a lot of casual players that are not on YouTube, they're not on Twitch, but 2/3 of all players have played the Spiritborn. That also means that a ton of people purchased the Vessel of Hatred expansion. Like Spiritborn is, they definitely acknowledge that it's pretty powerful. And they also shared another number here, which was from the Sorcerer last season. You may remember the Lightning Spear Sorcerer. This was super popular in Season 5 last season. And that was only half. So only 32% of players played the Sorcerer in Season 5. But so Spiritborn is dominating like crazy. And they're actually, instead of nerfs, there are buffs coming to Toxic Skin and to Razor Wings on the Spiritborn. You might have seen some of the builds. We're going to talk about that in a second as well. But first of all, let's check out what they do for all the existing classes. Starting in alphabetical order, or in order of which class is the best. B for Barbarian. So they have definitely recognized the problem that the current core skills on many classes are not in a good spot. So they are buffing Upheaval. This is about 20% buff. They are buffing Hammer of the Ancients. This is about a 15, almost 20% buff to Hoda Barb. And they are buffing the Double Swing here by 20%. And they are also buffing the Rend almost by 20%. So the full patch notes, this is only, the most important changes. But we're going to get more detailed changes on Friday or on Thursday this week. So in like about 3 days. And you notice here, they did miss the Spin to Win. They did miss the Whirlwind Barb. So I'm not sure if Whirlwind Barb is not going to get buffed. We're going to have some indirect buffs here. But maybe we'll see in the patch notes that Whirlwind, because this is the fan favorite build. Man, people want to play Spin to Win. And they didn't talk about it here in this campfire chat at least. It might still be in the patch notes. We'll see. But yeah, there's a buffs to a ton of core skills. And then they're also making, and this is not the only thing, they're buffing uniques as well. They only showcase this, right? There is more stuff coming. This is not all, guys. So they're also buffing some underused aspects like the Battlemate. This is the weapon switch aspect. It now gives you multiplicative damage as a generic multiplier. And this is very rare on the Barb. So it's super cool to see, some of these general multipliers here that are coming for the class. This is a 1.4x. You still got to switch the weapons. You still get Berserking on top. And there's a ton of changes like this throughout the classes. So you have Druid here, where you get the passive updates here, the key passive buffs. Hopefully Barb also gets some key passive buffs. They buff the companions even more. And they also have some pretty cool reworks here. You might remember the Warnado Druid. And this one, there has like an auto-aim functionality coded into the build with this aspect. And now you also get a 1.5x multiplier. So you can see here, you're going from 17, 20,000 damage up to 30,000 damage. So from 17, you go up to like 30. That's pretty good. So Druid is definitely getting some buff. And they also said, guys, they are not going to make all the classes as broken as the Spiritborn. Yes, all the classes are going to get buffed. But no, not every class is getting 1,000,000 times multiplier. So the Spiritborn in Season 6 is still going to remain the best class. There's also like another buff here to the Basilisk here with Petrify. I don't think that one was too interesting. There's also a ton of Necromancer changes here. This is probably at the moment the least played class next to Druid. Like they are buffing the basic skills on the Necro. They are buffing here some passives like Evulsion. And Yeah, there was a couple more stuff like Essence Gain, Mortar Crooks, How From Below, some of the uniques, but you kind of get the idea that they're basically going to buff every class here. Rogue is also getting a ton of core skill buffs. Panshot is getting an increase. Flurry is getting increased. They are buffing Victimize again. They are buffing Precision. So a lot of key passive changes. And then for the Sorcerer, I think here, the Sorcerer is actually getting the most changes from what they've shown. Sorcerer needs a lot of help. And it's getting it. It's getting scaling on almost all their passives. So you can see Combustion here. You're scaling this with 25% multiplicative of your burning multipliers. So they added this to pretty much every passive now, that you're going to have a multiplicative scalar. And you see here, for example, Avalanche for Frost skills. This is going to buff like Ice Shards, Blizzard, Frozen Orb significantly, because you can, similar to the Rogue, now get 1.6 multiplicative base, but you're also getting an extra scaling the more vulnerable damage that you have. So this reminds me of Victimize, and this might potentially be obviously extremely strong on lucky hits though. But generic multipliers basically for your Frost skills. They're also buffing the supporting aspects here. I think an Ice Shard Sorcerer might be eating good. You may remember this from like Season 0, where they were rocking the Ice Shards, and this one also gets a tremendous buff. And very much looking forward to that. And they also showed some visuals here. I think overall the visuals on Sorc are just amazing. Aspect of overheating, new legendary aspects introduced, basing of Charge Bolts and Incinerate. These are underused builds, but it looks fucking cool. Like you're holding out the hand like that, and you're throwing out either Charge Bolts or Incinerate. So I think that looks pretty cool. And then, last but not least, guys, not only, like I said in the intro, no nerf to the Spiritborn, but they are actually buffing some builds that are like underused. So the first one here is Razor Wings. So you're gonna get like a 25. This is actually a 50% damage increase for the Razor Wings, and they no longer have a cooldown between their casts. And I'm gonna link this video below. I already played, if you might have seen my video here. It got 40,000 views a couple, like 1 week ago. We already played the Razor Wing, and this is basically reminding me of the Blast Hammer. And this is how the build looks. Like you're basically throwing your wings, and you can see I have like on my queue here, I have like 24 stacks. I'm throwing my wings, and they are circling around me like Blast Hammers are doing in Diablo 2 for the Paladin. And this is actually a level pit 120 that I cleared in like 3 minutes or so. So this build is already pretty powerful. And you see there, it's hitting already like for 80 trillion damage. And this is gonna get cooldown reduction and another 50% damage increase. And if you're bored of like, you know, the Kepaleke builds, you can try one like this, because this is a not Kepaleke build. It's just like a fun build to play. And I think you like speedrunning 130, 100. Like, look how we just deleted them. Like this is like the pack. I don't even know what we're hitting for here. It's hard to say, but yeah, a couple billion. There's 60 billion. There's probably a few trillions in there too. I don't even know. Like at least it's doing a lot of damage, like more than any barbarian or any other class can do. So that is getting a buff, guys. So the Razor Wing buff is here. They're also buffing Withering Fist, and then now, last but not least, there is more buffs on the Spiritborn. Like again, they only like cherry picked a few. They did talk about Toxic Skin. So you might have seen this. This is like the reverse flash build that can basically permadeath with Toxic Skin. And this Toxic Skin, let me see if I have the video here. It's also getting a pretty juicy buff here, where you're getting from 15 to 36 multiplier. And again, this was already pretty strong here. I'll show you the video here. This is the reverse flash build, Toxic Skin, Rushing Claw. Gameplay looks like this. I'm also going to link that video below. You're basically just using your Toxic Skin, and then you're using Rushing Claw, like Perma-Teleport, to basically kill everything with just your Poison Bursts. And this is using the Noxus Resonance passive, and this is also getting a pretty significant buff. And it was already kind of speedrunning, you know, pit 100s, similar speeds to the Flash build. That's why it's the reverse Flash. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So there's definitely a ton of stuff here in terms of class updates. Again, no nerfs, buffs throughout the board. Pretty cool. Very much looking forward to those. And then there is more changes here coming to runes. So they are buffing some of the underused runes. Again, this is not all of them. There's going to be even more buffs after this. Rune word buffs, Moni, Au, Se, some of the underused runes. I'm not really sure like how good they're going to be in the end. And then another grief point here was Conduit Shrines and Shrines in general. You may have seen those memes like don't click Conduit Shrine because it's going to nerf your character. Now Artillery, Blast Wave and Conduit Shrines deal more damage and scale with your level and Paragon level. And this might motivate some people to get some more Paragons, because you're basically going to deal way more damage with those shrines if you are Paragon 300. And there are good news coming for that as well, because they did confirm a ton of events that are coming. I need to move my camera here for a second. So next to the shrine changes, they did say they're gonna have the Red Cloak Horror return. This was the Midwinter Blight Christmas event. They're gonna have a welcome back booster for returning players. I think this one was for the Eternal Realm, where they basically have a booster for you that unlocks all your Altars of Lilith, that gives you a character that levels you to level 60 or to level 50 instantly and stuff like that. They have another Mother's Blessing coming, and again the PTR coming at the beginning of December. So there's going to be good opportunities also to level your Paragons here in those days or at those time. So pretty cool stuff. I did make a couple more notes here that I quickly want to talk about, because they did host a full Q&A session. I'm going to show you my notes here. We're going to move down again. So they had like a very cool setup here. Colin, Adam Jackson and Adam Fletcher, they were cooking. It was a sweet, short stream packed with a lot of info. So they're going to post the blog for all those events on Thursday. So that's going to be in 2 days, Thursday. And then probably on Thursday or on Friday, we're going to get the patch notes talking about the timeline here. Then on the 19th, the mid-season patch releases. Then probably on the 21st, we're going to have the Season 7 stream, like the PTR reveal, the theme reveal, and also, again, like when the test server starts. And they're also going to discuss what they're going to be changing on the Spiritborn for Season 7. Then they also hosted, so there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. And then I think PTR starts on the 3rd here right after. And then they also had this Q&A. They were looking into ancestral items, guys. They're going to share more details in the stream next week. And they hinted towards they're going to make it easier. They're working on the boss material stacking, and also, they didn't really directly say it, but they have some concerns for the duping. And yeah, the duping is going wild. Hopefully we'll see some hotfixes for that. Then they are also monitoring the Paragon 300 progression, but that's why they add XP buffs, so it's going to be a bit easier to get to 300 with all these events. And this is another big news here. The mid-season patch is basically going to buff the Legion event. So most of you probably don't even know what the Legion event is, but there's like an open world Legion event where you can go to fight some monsters and get, like, at the moment, no reward. But it used to be a very good way to get Rawhide and to get Iron Chunks, and they are buffing this again. So the Legion event is gonna get a guaranteed high amount of Rawhide and Iron Chunks. So those materials are gonna be a bit easier to farm for you, my friends. And that's pretty much the update. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna keep you posted with all the stuff happening. Again, patch notes in like about 2 days, and then the patch is dropping in a week, and then another stream for Season 7, new theme, PTR, announcement, everything. Probably, they didn't say the date yet, but probably on Wednesday or on Thursday next week, I would guess. Hope you enjoyed, my friends. Let's go. I'll get the patch notes updated once we have them, and I'll make another video here on the channel. Take it easy, my friends. GG. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.